What's up YouTube? It is your boy JB and we are here today with the review for Insecure. This is season 5. This is episode number 8 and the episode was titled Choices. Okay? Alright you guys, so before we get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and are not yet subscribed to the channel, I'm going to need you guys to do me a big huge favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Do me that big favor by subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, turning your notifications on, and sharing the video. And with that out the way, you guys, without further ado, let us go ahead and discuss Insecure, shall we? All right, guys. Oh, God. We see Issa and Nathan in bed with each other, right? So Nathan asked Issa what she's thinking. She's thinking about squirrels and why they always acting like they forgot something. I'm like, oh, my God. But then she tells him she's thinking about, Tiffany, right? That she can't believe that, Tiffany is actually going to be moving away. He says, well, with Tiffany moving to Denver, that gives me and you a reason, that gives us someone to visit out there in Denver. She says, oh, are you really going to come to Denver with me? He says, nah. Okay, I really could have done without this scene with Issa and Nathan because I don't see it for Issa and Nathan at all. Don't see it for him, but hey. So Nathan goes to the bathroom. He's getting ready to take a shower. He put his drawers on. And, Issa's got the toothbrush. He's like, he's like, that's my shirt. She's like, yeah, you left here. Like, yeah, I've been leaving a lot of shit here. My shoes, my drawers, my shirt. He said, I should have just said my clothes. But he's like, I really like waking up to you, Issa. I like waking up to you. I like making coffee for you. You know what? I should move in. I was like, negative. Here we go again with that flighty shit. Y'all are indecisive. Y'all are indecisive, flighty, a slew of other words. But hey, he wants to move in with her. I'm like, girl, I don't think that's a good idea, but if you want to do it, don't. So then we move over and we see Issa. So Issa's doing another one of her block events, right? And it's a complete success, right? So the guy that is at the works for the water company, he's walking around. So you remember that group that Issa was trying to get the last time? Well, she finally got them because she got them to come around and they are at the event and he likes that, right? So he tells her that they're ready to extend an offer to Issa. So then we see Issa, she goes over to where Nathan and his cousin are and she interacts with them. Nathan's like, I got to go do some stuff at the shop. She's like, oh, look at my man doing all. I'm like, oh, God. So they kiss. He's talking about, I love you too. I'm like, no, you don't. Neither one of y'all love each other, right? So then when him and his cousin leave, we see Molly and Kelly. Ooh. So they clown her, right? Have a little good kiki with her. And then, Amal was there. Amal was there. So after, Amal left, he was messing with Kelly because Kelly had this portrait that was drawn of her. He was like, oh, is that accurate? She was like, what, I'm gonna write a show and edit that out so I can unlive you. Ooh, can't say that on this channel. I don't want to say that word because I think that's what got me flagged. So we're gonna edit that part out. Damn it. So that means we're gonna have to edit this on the computer and something else on the phone. Okay. Well, nah. Damn it. Damn it to the bowels of hell. So we see Molly, my bad you guys. So we see Molly. So Molly, she is texting Torian and she is all smiles and all giddy. I'm like, ooh. So we find out that Molly and Torian went on their first date. I was like, oh. So they planning for their second date. So, Molly is hoping that they have sex on the second date. I'm like, oh, Molly. Girl, we moving a little too fast. Let's just kind of slow it down just a little bit. Like, I get it. You might want some ding-a-ling, but let's just kind of, let's go a little slow. We'll get there, but let's take it slow. Let's take it slow. Let's not escalate things. Let's go a little slow, right? But, Molly is talking about how she's dealing with this stuff with her parents, right? Which, understandable so she wants this a stress reliever. But let's go a little slow, Molly. Let's go a little slow. So let's pause here and move forward, you guys. So we also saw that Crenshaw was at the event, right? Now he didn't come in, but we see, Issa and Koya, right? So they walking. So then Crenshaw comes up to him and Koya was like, I stay ready if I gotta be ready. You feel me? He's like, nah, man, I come here in peace, right? So Crenshaw is telling them that, he tried to throw this gala, right? But he didn't know that he needed a permit. He needed this, he needed that. They were like, yeah, it's a lot that goes into planning a gala. And he was completely overwhelmed. So what Crenshaw is there to say is, I know that me and I know I didn't think you saw my vision. I know I did some fucked up shit to you, right, East? But I've been thinking that maybe me and you should work together again. And I was like, Issa, tell Crenshaw no, because Crenshaw is, I get it, he's passionate about his work, right? But at the same time, you have to be able to take criticism from people, right? Constructive criticism. That's the only way you can grow as an artist. You have to listen to what people say. It might not be the best thing, it might not be what you want to hear, but there's nothing wrong with people giving constructive criticism. It's just how you take it. And I think he took the criticism negatively and he lashed out. So I don't know if I would want to do business with someone that goes from that extreme, right? So then we see Issa that she got an offer from the water company, right? And so then we had this weird scene where it was a dream. It was kind of like a dream sequence, right? So we see Issa and Koya with the guy from the water company and the woman, and she's showing them this venue that she wants to host an event at, right? So then they walk through, but it's a different venue, and she's doing an interview with Elaine Wentworth. I believe I don't know, I don't watch the talk, but I know at one point she was on the talk if she's not still there, right? So Elaine was interviewing her. So once Issa finished that interview, Issa hopped on an airplane. Issa's in first class, and Ty Dolla $ign is on the side of her, right? So Ty Dolla $ign is getting ready to head to LA because he's going to be working with Crenshaw, right? And she was like, oh, Crenshaw. And then we see Issa as she got back to LA, and Issa looked like she's in this big, nice penthouse, right? And who was in the fucking penthouse with her? Nathan. I was like, oh, okay. But it turns out Issa was just imagining this. I was like, oh, thank God. So we're going to pause here and move forward, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Molly. Now, you guys know the whole thing with Molly this season is she's been wanting her parents to sit down and work on this, estate planning, right? So they're talking with her parents, and Kelly is there as well as her brothers, right? So from my interpretation, they were talking about the house. What do they want to do with the house? And, their dad was like, this is y'all's house, so it's yours. Basically, what the dad wants them to do is split everything evenly, basically. And I'm like, that's not going to work. And Kelly was like, when it comes to the banks, they need an actual dollar amount. And it was in that scene, I was like, oh, because they asked him how much is in his 401k. Do you have a Roth, or do you have this? And I was like, I don't think that the dad has that much money. He said he spent a good chunk of his 401k with the mother's latest stint in the hospital. I was like, oh, okay. That fool Kelly talking about, we can start you a savings account because banks love when you call, they say hello. You should like, come on, like, yeah, they do that. They're like, do I want to withdraw something? Yeah, bitch, I want to withdraw something. I was like, girl, Kelly is a complete fool, right? So then we move over and we see Issa. So Issa, she's met up with Crenshaw, right? And Crenshaw is giving Issa the rundown of what he wants to do. He's found this space where he wants to have a storefront. He's also talking about how he wants to give back to have an outreach program for the kids. And he's like, I used to work for an outreach program with kids, but, it could use a little help, right? So then, we see her and he takes her to his storefront. Storefront was beautiful. Love that storefront. So then Issa has another one of her visions of what her future would look like, right? So we see her and Koya, right? So they are with Crenshaw, and I think it's like 2 years after the fact, right? And I think in both instances, it was 2 years after the fact. So she's showing him this. So they have their flagship store, right? And they opened up another store the year before. So now they're getting ready to open up this store. So we see that store is open, right? its business is flourishing. So then we see Issa. She goes back to the apartment that she's currently in with, once again, Nathan is there. I was like, oh, so we really just gonna stick with Nathan, huh? Cool, I guess. Not really. I don't like that. So she's like, damn, I chose to stay in this apartment. He's like, yeah. So then we see, because he's telling her about Trina, this and this and that. He went and got some food, and he wants to make her happy. And then she hears Lawrence's voice, and then Lawrence comes out, and she was like, whoa, where did you come from? I'm like, girl, you still want Lawrence. You know what? If I had to choose for Issa to be with somebody, it would be Lawrence, because it's just not gonna be Nathan. I just don't see it for Nathan. Nothing against the man, just don't see it for him. Just he ain't it for me. But hey, you guys can let me know what you think in the comment section below. We're gonna pause here, you guys, and we're gonna wrap the episode up. All right, you guys. So Molly. So we see Molly. So Molly has finally, done the will for her parents, right? And in this scene, I really, really felt bad for Molly because, she went to her car and she just broke down crying, right? Because it is, as much as I know she wanted her parents to have this done so that it could protect them and their family, right? It's also got to be jarring and hard to come to. Well, I don't think it is. I know it is. It's jarring and it's scary to think about your parents' mortality, right? Once your parents get to a certain age, you realize, damn, my mom, my dad, they're this age, they're not gonna be here forever. And you just start thinking about the idea that my mom and my dad are eventually going to die. And you just are consumed with grief that hasn't even happened yet, right? Because I've dealt with that a lot prior to my mom passing. Like, I'll tell you guys a quick story. Because I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story. My mom was a smoker, right? And that was my biggest fear, that my mom would get any kind of cancer, because she actually had cancer years before I was born. She had ovarian cancer, so she had her ovaries taken out. And I had a fear that so I used to watch this TV show on VH1, Mob Wives, when Big Ange passed away from, throat cancer. She had throat cancer, right? When she passed away, I said, because I cried because I thought about it. And I went home and I had a conversation with my mom. And I was like, I really, really want you to stop smoking. Like, I need you to stop smoking for me. I had been asking her since I was a kid to stop smoking, and she would always say she would stop. At one point, she kind of weaned herself off and she stopped for a little bit, but she got back on it. And I will say, prior to her passing away, she actually she had stopped smoking as much. She would maybe have one or two a day. And I was like, you're doing better. Because I was like, I want you to be around for me as long as you can. And she was like, I want to be here too. But we knew she was, my mother she died in 2017. So my mother was 76 years old. She was 76. So, I knew we were limited on time, but I wanted as much time with her as I could get with her. And I got a little bit more time, after we had that conversation about her, stopping smoking. We had a little bit more time. But, Molly was supposed to have this date with Torian, right? So Torian called her and he was like, hey, the place that we're going to is BYOB. So do you want white or red? And she was like, Torian, he's like, please don't tell me you finna flake on me, Carter. She's like, no, I'm not. She says, I just had a really rough day with my parents and I just don't think that I would be any fun. He says, okay, I'm here if you need me. And then we see her, she goes home and there's a knock at the door and a woman has a drink for her. And she's like, I didn't order anything. And then she has wings and Torian has sent her wings and some wine. I was like, oh my God, that is so sweet and cute. I really like that, right? So then we see Issa. So Issa is talking to herself in the mirror and, she's talking about the things that she's envisioned, right? And she just doesn't know what to do, right? And then she's also wondering, why is she thinking about, Lawrence? And Mirror Issa tells her, the reason that you probably think about him is because, one, you called him a few weeks ago and maybe things aren't over with you and Lawrence, right? So then we see her, she calls Molly. So Molly tells her, hey, you know, my parents, we finally sat down, we got a will done. And then Issa tells her, she's like, so what about you? Like, you got the offer from, you know, the water company, and what about Krishan? What are you gonna do? Issa's like, I haven't really made a decision at this point, right? And Molly tells her, you know what, Issa, follow your gut, do that. And I was like, exactly, because Issa's wondering if she will be a sellout if she goes with the water company. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section and we will discuss it. But that is the review, you guys. We got 2 more episodes left and then we are done. So be sure to like this video, leave your comments in the comment section below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video, and until the next one, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.